set of rules. I live like a king, it's all about the best. Everything's better by the tools. To take over this game, I had to be patient. They said they wonder how I do it. I live my life like a motherfucking warrior. Welcome to Gladiator school. I'm a beast, I'm a dog. I'm a wolf, I'm a bear. I live a life of a savage. I do what others would dare. Stay strong, stay ready.
Yeah, what's going on, people? Hey, what up? Good morning, good evening, good night. Whenever the hell you watching or listening, man. It's your boy, Shondo Blaze, and I'm here with my man.
Melly Mel, Process the Mel, what's popping?
You already know what's going on, baby, and welcome to Gladiator School. You dig?
Let's go.
Come on, man. Let's go. Hey, so what we like to do here at Gladiator School, we like to start things off with our juiciest, most relevant 1% better U-book entry. Guys, you got to get your pack of U-books, man. I'm telling you, it itemizes everything for you, makes it very simple. I am, I want, I did. If you watched episode 1, you heard what we did then. And if you're watching episode 2 now, which you are because you're listening to our voices, then we're going to let you know how we do this thing. Now, for me, this week, the most relevant entry that I had in my 1% better U-book was trust the system that I created. This week has been one of those weeks that's really forced me to utilize the system and the infrastructure that I created for these different businesses. Sometimes you can go rogue. Melly Mel, I'm sure you know that as well. Sometimes you can kind of go rogue, kind of go off the script and shit like that. But if you want to be able to scale and you want things to roll smoothly, you gotta be able to trust and work with the system and the infrastructure that you created. So for me, that was the most important entry that I had in my 1% better U-book this week, was actually trusting and utilizing the system that I created and not freelancing that bitch 1 or 2 of the days out of the week.
I know what about you, big dog? You like to go off and do your own thing.
Bro, and it's from college, man, playing quarterback. It's like, man, you just create a play. And sometimes that works, but after you've got the game well in hand, you gotta work within the confines of the system. So that's something that I'm still working, working at even on my own, is trying to make sure that I'm staying within the confines of the system that I created. Because if we're not gonna stay within the confines of the system or the infrastructure that we've set forth, what the fuck is the point? You know what I mean? So it's been a challenge for me. So that was one of my major entries for the week, is making sure that I stuck to that. And I'm proud of myself because I did. And to be real with you, because I did, we had some solid sales this week. We'll just say that.
It's always good. Hey, sales is always good. When the numbers is up, everybody happy.
When the numbers is up, everybody's happy. Yeah. What about you, bro? What was your dopest entry or whatever like that for the week, man? Something that you wanted to stick to or whatever like that.
Man, for me, it was being consistent. I was out of town, so I was able to be consistent, even though not in my normal confinements, my normal surroundings, having my being in the house and stuff like that. So being able to bounce around, was the first time that I actually had a chance to fly. I haven't flown or hopped on an airplane in quite a few months due to the COVID and whatnot. But being able to go out of town and get some things done, but being consistent in spite of that, you know what I mean? It's so easy to, when you're on vacation or if you're out of town, to say, everything out of town, everything's on vacation. But being consistent, being on top of it, that was the one thing that I was most proud of. So I complained about that. So U-book, got to get it.
Bro, that's you know what's so crazy? Like that's a real fucking thing, bro. Traveling. And, sometimes you travel to get away from whatever, you got going on. But even within the vacation or whatever you taking, like finding those little tidbits to be able to stay consistent with, it's not fucking easy. It's not. So I'm proud of you, my boy, for even being able to do that shit straight up.
Especially for a lot of our gladiators out there that I know right now they probably don't live on the road, but a lot of people, it's hard when they're living on the road. It's hard to be consistent with the diet. You might fall on the diet, or you can't work out the way you want to because you're in and out of airports or hotels. And obviously I know that, may start to pick up a little bit more as, more people get vaccinated, whatnot. In the last year, most people have been home. But for our gladiators that travel, I can understand how it's hard to be consistent in some of those things because you're just not accustomed and you're not in a stable location. So shout out to everybody that was consistent pre-COVID that was able to do that, because that's a very difficult task to do.
Bro, because I went on that donut run.
Oh, we know about that.
Hey, I went on that goddamn donut run for about 4 months there, and that six-pack was struggling with a cake. So, yeah.
I can't blame you.
Bro. I definitely, bro. Staying consistent no matter with the travel and everything like that, that's a real thing, man. So, Gladiators, I hope you guys have been able to stay up with that, man, staying consistent in what you got going on. We're going to keep this thing rolling into our very next thing, and we love to highlight our Gladiator quote of the week. We got a good one this week for you guys.
What's that quote? What's that quote, Shondo?
Let me hit them with it, man. So, it's the cause, right? It's the cause, not the death, that makes the martyr. And that came from Napoleon. Again, it's the cause, not the death, that makes the martyr. And I thought that shit was dope as hell, because if you say it fast, you really won't catch it. But he's saying that it's not the way you go, it's how you go that's going to make you be remembered in a certain way. Some people, they think about, like, just say Michael Jackson or Prince or Bernie Mac. The way these guys pass quickly to some people, but when you look at it, it's like, how else could Michael Jackson have died but crazy like that? Like it wouldn't have made sense for Michael Jackson to live to be 89 years old and die like in a, you know what I mean, like attended by nurse. It just wouldn't. I know people like to think that shit, but it's like the way he left, because he left while he was still kind of able to be Mike. It's like he's frozen in time as Mike versus, being decrepit in a wheelchair or whatever happens to you when you get old like that. It's the way he went was tragic, but at the same time, if you the king of pop, how the fuck else can you go but surrounded in controversy? You know what I'm saying? I don't know what you think.
Man, I agree. I mean, the first time when you said the quote, when I sent it, when I heard what it was going to be, I immediately thought of two people. Being I'm a Cali boy, born and raised in Southern California, so I thought about the most recent things that were taken from us that is still fresh in our memory, which was Nipsey Hussle and Kobe Bryant, two people that left us far too early, and you think about the impact that they had on people's lives while they were here. And how their death is still, even though it's still recent, it's still very recent within the past year and past 2 years, but still, like, one, how they left us, but more importantly, the impact that they had before they left us. They had a cause, they had a reason, they had purpose in so many different ways, and we know them from one thing, whether it's entertaining, from music or on the basketball court, but had a lot more to offer us. But man, like you said, it's the cause, not the death. So those are the two people that I thought about.
I think that's dope, bro, because that's real, man. It's like, I know people don't like to think about death. They don't, you know what I mean? But being a gladiator, if you in gladiator school right now, you understand that the number one thing as a gladiator is the ability to embrace death, because it's coming. Whether it's close or whether it's far, it's coming. So that's the one thing. That's why I really identify with the gladiator. That's why everything I say and talk about has a gladiator undertone to it, because we have to understand, to live our very best life, we have to embrace the fact that it's going to be over. That's what makes the shit so sweet. Remember what Achilles said when he was talking to a girl when they had sacked the temple and taken her as like a hostage? He was like, because we are alive and we know we're gonna die, that's what makes life sweet. That's what makes it dope. If we just knew we were gonna fucking be here forever, like, imagine, people procrastinate now, bro. Imagine the type of shit that people wouldn't apply pressure to themselves to do if you just knew you were gonna be in this motherfucker for 5, 6
forever.
years.
Yeah, you like, what I gotta do today?
What I gotta do? Like, shit, you know what I'm saying? I get in shape 200 years from now. Shit, I got 300 more after that. So it's like, it's the fact that that shit can be taken at any time. The plug can be pulled at any moment is what makes this shit live. For some people, it upsets them because, like, damn, yes, Nipsey Hussle did die, too soon. Kobe Bryant did die too soon. But you got to understand, bro, I honestly believe that Nipsey Hussle had more impact in his passing than he did while he was here, as far as a global understanding of what was going on. A lot of people, they can lie if they want to. A lot of people didn't really fucking know about Nipsey Hussle like that when he was just alive, just keeping it all the Ray G.
True.
So
yep.
When he passed, it's like, oh, like now people start going back and looking at the videos, going down the rabbit hole.
Let me see what business ventures he was in. Let me see what he did with his $100 mixtape. Yeah. So that's a fact. Sometimes, even with Kobe too. Even with Kobe, sometimes you get immortalized when you go a little bit early.
Yep. And I mean, I like things to play out how they're gonna play out, but I'm telling you what, man, it's a bad thing, of course, for his family. You know what I mean? As far as like Kobe is concerned. But man, if you're somebody that's on the outside looking in, that may have, I personally believe that those two deaths gave a lot of real hustlers out here some spark to get some shit started. So I think that, you know what I mean, the people that are really on it, really hustling, I think that they use those moments to actually go ahead and jump off that mountain and build a plane on the way down versus saying, I'll get to it later on. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so, I mean, we definitely can't be mad at that.
For sure.
Now,
for sure.
Let's roll into it.
Talking about our boy.
So we back, man. We back talking about young Nino Brown, our gladiator of the
Brown.
We're highlight. You dig what I'm saying?
Just enough for the city. Bro, I love that movie.
Woo! Young Nino motherfucking Brown, man. So, you know what I mean? We highlight a gladiator every month, and Nino Brown is the very first one that we decided to highlight because the way this motherfucker took over the Carter was just monstrous, and we love to. If you a gladiator and you ain't talking about taking shit over, you probably need to check your underneath your little loincloth or whatever you got on, man, because that's the way to do it. But we like to highlight an attribute from our gladiator of the month so that we can expound upon that. And for Nino, one of the biggest thing that we're going to highlight for this week is his decisiveness. And for those that don't know, decisiveness is the ability to be able to make the decision, ride it out. That's what it is. He was very decisive. G-Money hit him with that little opportunity. He said, let me think on this. The goddamn next few scenes, we see him walking down the sidewalk with the goddamn super of the Carter with a gun to his motherfucking head. Like, it didn't take him long to make a play. And I think that for a lot of gladiators that's out here, they may be able to be inspired by that. Even though it's a movie, I get a lot of my inspiration from movies, you know what I mean? And characters that have died long ago. But I think that'll help a lot of people. Stay off the fence, man. Make a decision one way or another. And we want to really highlight Nino Brown's decisiveness this week because that's one of the best attributes I think that he has. Like, what you think about that, man?
Man, decisiveness is a good one to hit on. Obviously, we talked about the ambition last week. Hope you guys got a lot of notes and you kind of applied some of that last week. But this week with that decisiveness, man, it took me back when he had that plot against the the Italians and he cut his ponytail off and all that. You know what I mean? Like, made a decision. It was done. Like, it was no going back. He wasn't making friends. Like, he was gonna be the biggest. You know what I mean? Man, being able to commit to a play and run that play and see it through is very crucial. And for me, I'm always thinking about it in the business terms. It's very crucial in the business. And obviously, he was running the Carter, he was running the business, and he made a decision, and that's what it was. Right. And I think that in the theme of gladiator school, if you want to be a gladiator, you got to be able to stand on your own 10 toes down, make a decision, see that decision through. And that's just one. Now there's some other things we can go into and talk about, you know, being able to pivot and being able to adapt and all those other things, which is true. However, for this week, being able to be decisive, put your foot down and say this is what it is. That's a true gladiator. And,
that's a fact.
You know, I mean, what more do you want? What more does a wife want out of a husband, or what more does a girlfriend want out of her man, her gladiator, when he said, "Hey, this is what we doing," and that's what it was. And he walked off. She like, bruh, hey, he said that's what it was. That's what it is. We ain't talking about it no more. That's a true gladiator, and that's what we're about to get into, and that's what we're going to talk about. And that's why this decisiveness is so cold. Don't let it go over your head.
It's so fucking important. You and I talk just in regular convo about this. Like as a professional fighter, I remember starting off and I wasn't able to get in range of the guys that I was sparring with or going with and stuff like that. And a guy was watching on the outside and he was just like, man, what are you waiting for? And I was like, man, you don't wait. He's like, man, that's a professional fighter. This guy's he's not gonna just make the mistake, drop his hands, so you could do this and you could. He said, you have to force that shit to happen. You have to do something.
Yeah.
You got to create it. So when you started talking about, the other stuff that we can get into, pivoting and all that stuff, you're absolutely right. But it all stems off of being able to make that initial decision. Because if no decision is made, then you're living in the world of hearsay. Like, have you ever had an idea and you play it out 10 different ways, but it's all speculation because you don't know how people are going to react.
Don't know. You never know how stuff is going to play out. Like,
yeah.
I know you like to say we living in a world of right nows. Everything is right now, but
yep.
You can sit here and think about, when I do this, it's going to turn out this way, and then I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. Now you find yourself in a rat race where you're never doing nothing because you got so into your head, and now you think, well, I can't do that because this is going to happen. You don't know what's going to happen. You just got to do it and react, and what's right in front of you, play it right then and there. But
yep.
Like you said, you got to make that decision. It's got to be decisive. You got to say, hey, this is the play.
Got to be. You know what's funny? One of the trademarks right behind me for Jabber, this is another thing that we talked about before. I had the coolest names for this shit. Oh, they gonna love this name and this name and very intense pursuit. I'm saying all type of stupid shit that I'm just, again, projecting what I think that people are gonna fuck with. But then after being out there time and time and time again, I was seeing that people were calling the product itself. They were like, man, where's that little jabber thing? Where's the jabber? And it's like, damn, it's the simplest thing, but it was flying over my head. I probably say maybe a week. It probably, like, people were saying it for like a week because it didn't take me long. Because like Nino, I'm decisive now. So once people kept saying it for about a week or so, I made the play, went ahead and got that particular name trademark in addition to the other one that I had as well. But that was the one we ended up rolling things out with because people kept fucking saying it. So you can have these thoughts in your brain and what you think it will be once you do this and do that. But just like when I was in there trying to spar and do different things like that, you're not going to know until you put some shit out there. So Gladiators, decisiveness is really the cornerstone of what you guys are and really what you want to be, whether it's a relationship, whether it's you at whether you work, your business, whatever. It comes down to you fucking making a decision either way and being able to ride with it and pivot, like you said, no matter how it goes.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So, I mean, I know we're going to get to the mission and a little bit more of our topic we're talking about today, but man, just like for this week, in addition to the mission, when we get to it at the end of the week, man, if you guys want to have a little bit of that Nino Brown in you, take what we're saying this week. So as you're going through your U-book or as you're writing something down that you want to accomplish, because we talk about writing stuff down and getting started and stuff like that, this week, pick something, whatever it is, like put that play and say, you know what? All right, this is the play. Just see it through. Just write it down and be like, okay, I'm done going the seesaw, man. If I do this, and that's going to happen. If I do that, that's going to happen. Today's the day. As you're watching this right now, that little bit of Nino Brown is, let's make a decision. We're gonna stick to it. We're gonna ride it out, and we will adapt. But guess what? There is no failures. It's only going to be lessons that you learn. So don't worry about failing or something's not going to succeed. We're trying to get better, 1% better every day. So with that being said, decisiveness. Pick a goal, write it down, put out the plan, 10 toes down, and go for it, straight ahead.
I love it, bro. I love it, man. And I love the fact that you called him the task on that, because that was one of the things that I was going back door and say, but you so you caught the alley-oop so smooth and pumped. You pumped this twice because, yeah, man, I try to make a solid decision, at least one a week, like a decision that it's like, fuck it. I don't care how it goes. Because if you don't make a decision on certain things, you'll look up and you'll have 4 or 5 projects that's just open-ended. And you don't really know where to go with them or how to get to the next level with them. And it's all because you just teetering with them. You're not making solid decisions. So yes, man, I implore everybody, like this week, pick something and ride that motherfucker. Ride that motherfucker all the way out and see what it does. You know what, Melly Mel, in our hastened state to get to talking about decisiveness, we forgot to talk about this we forgot to talk about our Gladiator of the Week, baby.
Oh, no, we on it. That was the next on the list. You know, I got it written down.
We forgot to talk about our
Gladiator of the Week.
We talk, man, listen, people, we love to highlight a Gladiator of the Week. These are current event type things, so we can bring the news and shit into our stuff to keep everybody informed, but informed on a business level, because I don't give a fuck about that gossipy he say, she say shit. We talking about gladiators that's 10 toes down, making this shit happen for themselves and their family. And this week is none other than Jay motherfucking Z. Man, listen. Jay-Z just did a deal with Squarespace for upwards of $297 million in stock and cash, okay? For majority, they got majority, okay? But Jay-Z is now on the Squarespace board. So not only was there upwards of $297 million that came out of it in stock and cash, but now Jay is now on the board. Like, if you Gladiators, god damn it, I don't want to walk off, Philly. We gotta finish it.
Man,
if you don't understand, man, if you don't understand the fucking power move that is, the cash and the spot on the board, we always talk about it. Being in the fucking room. Yes. Jay has an uncanny ability of getting in the fucking room. People can criticize and all that, but you're on the outside of the room. You make no decisions on the outside of the room. Yep. Jay has been able to get on the insides of those rooms, and I fucking love it. That's how I goddamn Gladiator of the Week, Melly Mel.
Man, I don't even know what to say to that. I mean, everybody, you know who Jay-Z is. I don't care if you don't even know none of his rap songs. You know who Jay-Z is.
Yeah.
Like, in all honesty, he can be a gladiator every week. He can literally be the gladiator that we highlight every month, and we can talk about something different because he's just that type of guy. He's just that type of businessman. He has the acumen. Like, if you are a fan of his music, he dropped so many jewels in his music alone that you can pick up and be like, okay, I need to apply that. Oh, he said this, he said that. What is that? Next thing you know, some of the things he speaks about in his rap lyrics, people are starting to purchase, people are starting to invest in. So to hear that now he's got a seat on the board and all these things that he's done in recent weeks is like, yo, he's doing some things that have never been done before, which is great. And also for me, just being a black man, knowing like he's really trying to do things for our culture in addition to what he's doing for him and his family, he's trying to bring everybody along up with him. It's like, yo, he's a gladiator, he's a business, he's so many different things that you can't help but admire from a distance and respect that man for everything that he does. So, man, shout out to Jay-Z for being the Gladiator of the Week. I hope you guys are familiar with the deal and what's going on. If you haven't, please look and read into it, because I think you will find out that this guy is, not only is he making moves, man, he's like making plays. And it's definitely a game of chess. Like, please believe every move that he make, he's thinking about it future. It's not a short-term thing. It's always a long-term thing. And that's what I can appreciate from him and looking at some of the deals that he did. So, man, shout out to him for being the Gladiator of the Week. Man, I know we talked about Dak last week, but hey, Jay doing some big things. Shout out.
Say, I'm starting to think he playing a game of Chinese Go, man. This is another level Jay got going on, big dog.
Oh,
See, what we talking about is gladiators, is being able to get ourselves in position to win. when you're a gladiator, right? Whether you're talking about a gladiator that lived in gladiatorial times that was actually in the arena, or whether you're talking about this arena that we have called life now, it's always about finding the way to get yourself in position to be successful. The thing about Jay is that this is not a black thing. This is not a white thing. He's been able to get in rooms and make plays and use the leverage. See, a lot of people, they look at being black as a bad thing, and they're not flipping it, because that's the thing that I told you about when I did the show on ABC, understanding the beauty in being black. Because when they walked up to me, they was like, we couldn't give Shondo anything to say cooler than he would naturally say. So it's like, oh shit, you get a chance to see where the leverage lies. You have leverage. Too many of these people are seeing like, oh man, they're not giving us the opportunity. No, you're not putting yourself in fucking position to make plays. You have no leverage. Of course, when you have no leverage, you're not gonna be able to get the longer end of the stick. You're gonna always be begging for that little piece that's left over. But when you put yourself in position, right? Jay put himself in position with Title. He said, let me go grow something, even if I only create it to gain leverage with other companies. And it's exactly what he did. Squarespace. Who the fuck doing business I got 3 or 4 fucking Square deals on this desk right here. So now he's on the board. So now he's in the fucking room. That's real life gladiator shit.
He's in the room. You should have let him in the room.
Hey, hey, that's why I tell whenever I get a new patent, I always look to my left and the right, and I do that, bruh, man. Who in the hell left the gate open? You know what I'm saying? For real. So Jay, man, shout out to you, my boy. That's real life gladiator shit. You feel me? So I mean, damn. We've talked about our fucking our gladiator quota today. We talked about it coming from Napoleon, saying it's the cause, not the actual death itself that makes the martyr. So we talked about that. We got a good understanding of that. We got a good understanding of Nino Brown and one of his other attributes as far as being very decisive with how he makes plays. We talked about this big ass deal that Jay just did that puts him yet again in position to make yet another play. God damn. Yeah. You dig what I'm saying? So now I think we need to hear from Mel's Corner. Mel, what you got for Mel's Corner for today? What product you got, baby?
Man, I appreciate it. Thank you for another alley-oop. Welcome to another edition of Mel's Corner. Man, today on Mel's Corner, as you can see in the logos surrounding us, we like to highlight WSR Roofing. WSR Roofing is a dope company that does big business. Now, what I mean by that is if you are you have your own home, your own residential home, or if you have a business, they have the ability to do the roofing on your home and your business. That's all types of roof, whether it's a flat roof, if you have a shingle roof at your house, they do some phenomenal work. Obviously, you can see the link here as well as in the description to where you can go and find them. But Chris Wells is a phenomenal owner-operator. Please shout him out if you go to his page. Let him know that my Gladiator School sent you. Shondo and myself have sent you, and let him know that you came to check out his work and see all the stuff, man. They got all the drone footage of before and after pictures, and they have done some phenomenal work in the past 38 years, but really in the past 2020, you can go back and see some of the work that they did on the commercial projects as well as your residential projects. So please, if you or you know someone that is in need of a new roof, again, that is commercial or residential, go check out WSR Roofing. Let them know that my Gladiator School sent you. Tell Chris Wells we said hello. And yeah, man, go check them out. I think you guys will be very, very impressed with what they have to offer. Check them out.
Hey, man, Chris is a good guy, man. Chris is a real good guy. Look, hey, dude is super cool, man. So yeah, hey, y'all go check him out. You know what I mean? Whether you in the market for new roof or roofing repairs, or if you know other people, man, he's a super cool guy, and he is living that gladiator lifestyle for real. So You
Facts.
just know that when you go and check him out, you're not dealing with no Rudy Poop type motherfucker. You're dealing with somebody that says and took the leap of faith to really jump into that deep water and force themselves to swim. So, man, I really, really fuck with Chris, bro. Really fuck with Chris.
Chris is a dope good. Shout out to you, Chris. You know you a gladiator.
Already, man.
Sure.
So,
Yo,
I guess
what we got for the, what's the topic for today, though?
we got our decisiveness. We got that everything that's come full circle for us. But I think that we really want to talk about how do we lock in? Like how, if I'm doing something, Melly Mel, how can I lock in, big dog? Like, because I've already told people about the U-books because sometimes our thoughts can be all over the place. You know what I mean? But how can we take all those thoughts and really like make them more concise? You see what I'm saying? So I really want to get into how to lock in today. You know what I'm saying? And what are some methods that you've used to lock in?
Man, for me to lock in, I have a process that I have to lock in, which simply is the first step for me is writing it down. We talked about that last week, but that's super important. That's like the initial. That's like the first entry to locking in. Locking in, write down what that plan is and what that goal is or what it is that you're trying to accomplish. For me, a lot of times locking in comes to business. Once I know what I want to do, I then put out a little map. If I need to do some research, if I need to educate myself on that topic, I like to immerse myself after hours in the bed, on the couch, instead of watching television, or sometimes television could be another resource of you doing some research, but getting online, going on YouTube, going on Google, figuring out what is the high performer in that particular category that I want to enter. Let me make sure I know all the ins and outs that I possibly can. And for me, locking in, I might take about, and let's use, for example, my candle line. I wanted to lock in. You know what? I need to lock in. I want to learn about this candle. I spent a good 60 to 80 hours just learning about candles, learning about different wax, learning about different temperatures. So I got locked in there. Once I did there, I went on to the next step. Let me start to apply this, because I can sit there and do all the research in the world and learn everything I need to know about how to do something. In this case, how to make candles. But you have to start to apply that, because you putting your hands on something, you get into the ring and you start fighting people as a boxer or as a MMA fighter or whatever it is. It's easy just to sit there and watch and know the mechanics and you have it up here, but you have to start to apply that. So it's very key, because it's so simple just to put up something on paper. It's very key to get locked in and do all the research. But then sometimes people don't go to that next step, was actually start to apply that and start to get your hands dirty and get your hands in the mud and start to do those push-ups. And for me, that's those 3 small entry steps to locking in. Is 1, put it on paper, get that plan. 2, do the research, get the education, and figure out, be a practitioner of that particular area that you want to do business in or be a leader in or whatever it is you want to do it in. And once you get that, start applying it. You gotta apply it. You have to apply it. And for me, that's locking in. That's how I lock in. And then once I'm in there, then it's hard to shake me out of that.
Hey, bro,
What about you? I mean, I know that was a lot. I don't know if that's the way that you might do it, Shondo, or some of the other gladiators, but for me, that is how I lock in. That's how I get focused.
Bro, I thought that was a great explanation for how you do it. That's why I wanted to pair Nino Brown's attribute of decisiveness in with the actual topic of just what we're talking about for ourselves today, and that's locking in. So they both are they go hand in hand, because you just said that for you, when it came down to with your candle line and you wanted to lock in on that, how you spent 60 plus hours just researching, looking at people in the space and different things like that. And then there comes a point in time where you have to make some type of a decision. What am I going to go with? How's it going to look? What's it going to be like? I need to get the orders in so that I can actually experiment with it myself to make it what I need to make it. So I think that not only Nino Brown's the attribute that he has, but also the locking in, they go hand in hand. Let's just get that out the way. But to go back to how I lock in particular, number 1, I write that thing down. I'm not trying to just shamelessly promote this thing. I'm letting you guys know that this changed my fucking life, man. Being able to put this shit down in a simple fucking format, bro. I fucking am, I want, I did, checking that shit off on a daily basis. You will be, I've got hundreds of these fucking things laying around. And I can go back and literally see when I made certain plays by date.
Yeah.
The date, all of that shit, man. Writing that shit down.
I want to say one thing. I don't want to interrupt you, but I do want to highlight this about the U-book. I don't know if you said it last week or if people just know about it, but what's important about that U-book, to me, what's important, and I think, Shondo, you also said this before as well, it's very easy for all of us in society, myself and you gladiators out there, to put a list down, and it's a list of like 10 different items. With that U-book, it's like 2. Like, you don't have to make this big drawn-out list. It doesn't have to be overly elaborated, and it has to be this big, I'm going to climb the mountain today. It's 2 very simple things. So to Shondo's point with that U-book and how it can change, if you're one of those people that when you do write something down or you do have a plan, you have a bunch of stuff thrown in there, the U-book takes all that away, and it's only 2 things. Just put 2 things down, and it's 2 things that you can accomplish and get better, and thus the 1% better every day. You feel a lot better when you complete those 2 things as opposed to when you wrote 10 things down and you got 6 done and you didn't get to the 4, so you're kind of kicking yourself like, damn, I did 6, but I left 4 on the table. I don't feel as good. When you only have 2, you feel a lot better. So I didn't mean to interrupt, but I think that's super important that people need to, as they order their books, and realize it's just 2 things, and that's so easy to knock out and feel good about yourself.
Yeah, because that's what it is, man. No, you didn't interrupt at all, man. You actually added the piece in there that, see, I created it, so I'm so used to it, right? But it's always cool when you chime in because you're basically representing someone else's voice that's on the outside of it looking in. And so, no, matter of fact, I appreciate you doing that because that is one thing that I want people to understand. It's not about putting a bunch of shit down there. It's about putting 1, 2, 3 things at the, like, very small list, knocking those out, because what that does is it gives you the confidence to go and hammer some shit out the next day. So that's what 1% better as a whole even is. It's about small goals, being able to set them up and knock them motherfuckers down, and being able to go on to the next day with a win under your belt. So being able to write it down in the U-book is huge. After being able to write it down, being able to actually do the research on whatever I'm actually looking at. Once I do the research, then that's when I do my Nino Brown and I get real decisive at what I'm trying to do and what I fucked up. I said trying. Let's scratch that out of the fucking vocabulary yet again.
I'm about to get him.
Woo! I felt you about to get him. So, yeah. Then I do exactly what the fuck I said that I was going to do. So we go from the writing it down, then doing the research on it, then getting very decisive and making a decision one way or the other for whatever that we're going to do. So for me, that's how I lock in. Probably it's really very similar to what you said, but guess what? This shit is not rocket science. People understand that, like I talked about way earlier in this thing, systems, following certain steps. Some of you guys are in businesses that you could just Google how to do an operating system that will work good for your business, and you can follow this shit step by step and not change shit on there. Yeah. We don't need to fucking complicate things, i.e. one of my trademarks, Jabber. I was complicating things before instead of making it very simple and something that people will remember. Let's simplify things, and by simplifying it, it's going to help us lock in, gladiators. You dig?
Facts. I love it. No, you definitely have to lock in. So, man, y'all come up with your own little game plan on how you lock in. Obviously, you know what's best for you. You know what you respond to well. You heard ours. Ours is pretty much the same, maybe just a little bit different in the approach as far as, you know, having a decisive and going with that. For me, it's really hands-on, which really is the same thing, because you got to jump in, because you just sit there and think it's going to be the best thing, but you don't know until you get your hands dirty. So, man, that's our take on it. But, man, we want to hear from you. What's your take? Like, how do you lock in?
Right. That's what I'm interested. I'm interested in hearing other ways to lock in. I read a thing earlier today, and it was talking about Albert Einstein and Steve Jobs, the concept of no time. And then, because I don't believe in time as other people would consider it. Time is just something that we use to be able to be on the same page with one another. But time itself isn't a real thing. Like, people think that it is, but it's not. You probably have some people that you went to school with that look 5 or 10 years older than you look. Like, why is that? Because their year, maybe it looks different than your year because it's more stressful for them or whatever. Their body has aged in a different way than yours has. So the actual concept of time itself isn't real. Us understanding, hey, we're going to jump on here and do this thing at 6 o'clock, that's what resonates because we have to be on the same page. But what the fuck is a 6 o'clock? You know what I mean? You got some people that love eating breakfast for dinner and fucking dinner for breakfast. So again, time isn't a real thing. It's all about the reference point that we're trying to get to. But it was a very, very dope article because it just talked about the way those guys operated. They operated in a very relaxed sense. Like they call Steve Jobs a bum. Like the way he would operate was like a bum. You know, you see the movie about him with Ashton Kutcher played him in the Steve Jobs movie, walking around with no shoes. He had that hippie mindset. You know what I mean? Albert Einstein, look at his fucking hair. Like that's what we know him from, that crazy hair, that crazy expression. The man was just, it's like people have different ways to lock in. Some people are very militant with it to where they're like, okay, I'm carving out this time to this time to do it. And some people like myself is just like, shit, I'm just gonna always kind of be in the space. And when the idea comes and it hits me, then I'm on it. But other than that, I'm just letting it flow. Just letting it flow. So yeah, we want to hear the ways that you guys lock in. And really, if we can implement that in our game, then that's what we'll do. But yeah, let us know, man. Comments, all that type of shit.
Man,
hey,
that's a good one.
So,
I like locking in.
Hey, bro, but you guys take a look at that. Take a look at that Steve Jobs and Albert Einstein, No Time, because it'll you know, it may help some of you guys. It's like, damn, I can't really get focused. That's not necessarily a bad thing. You know what I mean? Because the ideas sometimes are swirling around. You just got to be able to grab them out of the air while you're in that mindset. But y'all check that out, man. It's dope. But let's go ahead and bring this thing to a close, Melly Man. Let's go ahead and land this fucking plane, land this motherfucker. You know what I mean?
What are they going to accept this week, sir?
Okay, so for this week, we had the push-ups. Last week, I want to know your numbers, the minute push-ups. How many push-ups did you do in a minute? The first day you did it versus the last day you did it. Did you get better? Did it get more comfortable, easy?
Hey, I got better. Your boy got better. Hey, what's crazy is when I did it, I was winded because I was in, you know, I got winded, so I got up, felt myself. I'm sure many of you did too. Felt like, man, I'm over here trying to catch my breath, which is good. But same thing that you said last week, you know, once you already had that goal, you had that number that you hit the very first time you did it. Now you are striving to beat that next number. So I definitely got better as I did more push-ups throughout the week. And man, I got pretty decent though. I got pretty decent. I feel comfortable with my numbers. I'm
telling you, bro. I'm interested to hear. I'm interested to see people comment and just tell us how it was, because that's exactly what it was. Like in the beginning, it was like, God damn. But then as it went on, your body knew more of what to expect, and that's what this shit is, bro. Gladiator School is about us putting ourselves in situations that we haven't been in and watching our bodies and our minds and our spirits fucking respond to it, and being able to come out on the other side and be like, damn, when I first did that, it was this. Now it's this. So I think that's a dope thing.
And before I want to say this before we get into the mission of the week this week, but now that you say that, what really hit home for me, because again, you and I, we both always thinking about business and how it relates to business, and how you can relate something so small as like doing push-ups, and now you know what to expect. That's the same way with almost everything in business. Sometimes you don't want to do something because I don't know what to expect, or it's too hard. But once you do it 1 or 2 times, and you're like, okay, I know what to expect. Oh, this isn't what I thought it was. This is a little bit easier than it was. You get a lot better that way. And that's why it's important for you to get in the game and do it, and all these other things that we've said in the past, and some of the things we're going to say here in some episodes to come. But, man, just think about that. Something as simple as doing push-ups, and now you know what to expect. Now it's not a daunting task. It's a little bit easy. Now you got a lot better. And I think about that I think what really hit me really quick, what I just thought about was, I can't remember the person that did it first, but it was a person that ran the 4-minute mile. Like nobody could run the 4-minute mile. And then as soon as they finished and ran the 4-minute mile, like a bunch of people started running the 4-minute mile because they had the blueprint and they knew it was possible. So now you knew somebody that looked like you know that if that person can do it, I can do it. Now running that 4-minute mile became a lot more feasible. Before it was like, yo, nobody can do it. And as soon as the first person does it, oh, well, I can do it too. Yeah, you can. And that same principle can apply in the same scenario, i.e., go out there and do it. First, it give you something as small as push-ups. It give you something as big as starting a multi-million-dollar company. But once you're actually doing it, you might realize, oh, it's not as hard as I thought it was.
Bro, so can you?
It just hit me. I wanted to say that real quick.
So can you call your boy a mad scientist? Come on, you know what I'm saying? Because to be honest, that's why I did it, bro. You hit it right on there. The reason that I wanted us to be able to knock these small tasks out is because I know that they're transferable. These are transferable skills, all of them. It starts at some small shit like push-ups, getting the confidence to be able to stay consistent with something like that. But then on top of that, seeing that you improved at it, and it was one thing in your head, but then once you did it, it's like, oh, then it becomes something totally different. So, Melly Mel, you hit it on the head, baby. That's why I was in there cooking my mad scientist shit up and saying, hey, my gladiators need this, man, because it's going to be able to transfer to so many different aspects of their life. The push-ups that's just the vehicle. That's just the vehicle to get you where I'm trying to get you. Everybody out there, that's just the vehicle. Understand, all of these missions of the week, these are only the vehicles to get you guys other skills that are going to be very instrumental in you becoming that overall gladiator that you want to be. So let's get up, bro.
What's the new vehicle? What's the new whip we hopping in this week? What we hopping in?
Something simple again. I told you about my donut run earlier. So what we got to do this week, you get what I'm saying? We got to do a minute of fucking sit-ups. I'm talking about back to the ground, stomach to the knees. If you can't get up there without lifting your legs, put your fucking feet up under the couch and get your motherfucking ass up there. We're doing 1 minute straight of sit-ups. I want to see what everybody's doing. That shit is going to burn. But after you fucking do it, you're going to feel like $1 million, just like you felt like $1 million bucks when you did your push-ups. So last week was the push-ups. That's over with. You can continue it if you want, because I know what I'm probably going to do. I'm going to continue to do like all of them and start stacking them upon each other and see how I like it. So this week is the sit-ups. 1 minute of sit-ups, full, back to the ground, all the way up, chest to knees. Again, if you can't get up without kicking your feet up, slide them motherfuckers up under the couch or have somebody hold them. 1 minute straight, and let's see what you do, baby.
Let's go. I'm with it.
Yeah.
Let's do the sit-ups, man. We getting fit mentally and physically. That's what Gladiator School's about. So I appreciate it. Let's go.
Let's go. So hey, listen, in landing this plane, we want to tell you guys, hey, y'all are part of a very special, very elite group, man. Very elite group. We talked about it last week. We talking about it this week. We're gonna have a special meetup, man. We're gonna have a meetup to where we get together at the end of the month and we're gonna fucking smoke cigars together. We're gonna give y'all all that information and shit like that. If you're not in the city that we in, then you guys can tune in on a digital level, man. But you are in a very fucking special group. These are when you're with other gladiators, you're with a group like none other. This not your partners that you just drink beer with. These are motherfuckers. This is iron, sharpening iron at all times. What we want to see is people having conversations about different shit. People sparking each other to do shit, verbal sparring, all that. So we're going to have the meetup. You guys got the exercise that we're going to do for the actual week, the mission of the week. But I love to tell you guys that you're part of a very special, very elite group, man. And I just want to thank you personally for even chiming in and being with us right now, because it's a real thing, man. We're trying to get better. We want you guys to get better. And it's just, man, this shit is all fucking love, bro. All fucking love, man. So, absolutely. I mean, you could have been anywhere in the world, man, but you're here with us. And we appreciate that, man. It's your boy, Shondo Blaze, along with my guy,
Melly Mel, Process the Mail.
Come on, man. This is Gladiator School, and where we get 1% better every day.
Hey.
Yeah, that's it.
I live my life like a motherfucking warrior. Welcome to Gladiator School. I'm a beast, I'm a dog. I'm a wolf, I'm a bear. I live the life of a savage. I do what others would dare. Stay sharp and stay ready, cause it can go down like anywhere. They don't make too many like me, you know the bloodline rare.